Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So here we are on episode 13, lucky number 13. Today is Sunday. What's the date of today? Today's January 26th, episode 13, and I have an incredibly special guest. Most of the time I ask my guests to introduce themselves, but I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to introduce my friend Gunnar Heathe. Gunnar, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I want you to take a few minutes, introduce yourself, and then I thought we would open this conversation about last night's performance. I was lucky enough to see Gunnar perform in Hagerstown last night with the band Throne Room. I told you earlier, I thought it was really an exceptional set. I think you guys, all three of you guys, are some incredible musicians. So let's start with let's start with Throne Room. Talk about Throne Room for me.
Oh, it's fun. I think that's the main thing, keeping it fun and trying not to take it too seriously.
Let's talk about the members that are inside of the band. Who all are you playing with? Who'd you play with last night?
So on bass guitar, we have Rocky, who's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and we have Amadeus on drums, who I met Amadeus, I guess it's been a couple of years ago, but I asked him to drum for us one day because I really enjoyed his style and we clicked really well. So
Amadeus, he also plays in another band. Well, he's in a couple other bands. He has we've seen him perform with Scarecrow's Curse, and I know he has a new project is it Babies with Rabies?
No, it's Babies for Brunch.
Babies for Brunch. Babies
Yes.
for Brunch. Why did I keep wanting to throw rabies in there? I don't know.
Because it rhymes.
Oh,
There's
I
a band.
gotcha.
They just played it at one of the bars in the area.
Babies for Brunch. And what'd you say your bass player's name? What's Rocky's last name?
Wachter.
Wachter. So with Throne Room, how long have you guys been performing together?
As a unit, I'd say maybe less than a year. I'm trying to think. Maybe since summer of last year, 2024.
2024.
Yeah.
What recordings do you guys have recordings out right now?
Nothing really enjoyable to listen to, probably.
I gotcha.
But we would like to record some stuff in the future. You know, it's been really hard lately as a band, just because of financial situations and everything, and just life happening. So it takes up a lot of time and effort and resources, and people don't realize that, and they're always pissed at me because they're like, "Gunnar, I'm pissed at you." And I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "Because you don't have any music out." And I understand it. I get it.
Right.
But as a musician, I don't have incentive to put it out.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And, you know, you can say, well, oh, Gunnar, you're alienating your audience by saying that. Well, no, maybe you deserve to be alienated because a lot of people can't afford food or to heat their house or even afford a house or a car.
Right.
So I don't, you know, people, I don't know, they don't understand what musicians are going through. It's a bad time to be a musician.
Just and you mean with just being able to make a living at it? Oh yeah. No.
I mean, I know all my guys struggle. I mean, all my friends that are in bands.
Right.
I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the artistic experience too. I was thinking, I can't remember the name of
It builds character.
the bands were talking about, like when this was back in the 80s, and I think it was Metallica. They had this what they called the hand sandwich, which was just like bologna, bologna in your hand. That was the hand sandwich.
I am well acquainted with those.
Yeah, me too. So let's talk a little bit about your musical past. If you don't mind, how old are you, Gunnar? I'm curious.
I am. I'm a being that's been around infinitely. I'm infinite, you know.
You're infinite.
Yeah.
Infinite. How did you start playing music? What are some of your formal influences? Like who?
Oh, a lot. Well, Pantera for one. That's probably my favorite band, honestly.
Pantera.
But first band I really got into was probably Black Sabbath,
Yeah.
like metal wise.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you hate me, but Nickelback.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't fucking care if you hate me. I like Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Fuck you if you don't.
Yeah. I remember taking shit when I was young because I was a big fan of the fucking Spice Girls, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I like this, the Spice Girls. Yeah, I like the Spice Girls. How old were you when you started playing music, and how does that process start? How does music become? And the one thing I see with you that I most admire, I can tell, and from our working relationship, we've been fortunate enough to work with you for a few years, and I very much think of you as this solo artist. So it's always neat to see you collaborating and working with other musicians. And
I'm glad when I can make it work
yeah,
because people are difficult,
yeah,
to say the least.
Yeah. What I see with Throne Room is with Rocky and with Amadeus, all three of you guys raise your level of musicianship, right? Mm-hmm. I could see everyone working together. Like I said, I thought last night was really tight. I thought I do, and I really do. Anyone that catches the show, go and see Gunner, right?
We got each other's backs, man. That's if you don't enjoy playing with the people in your band, why are you in a band with them?
Right.
It makes no sense unless you're straight up doing it for money. And at that point, you'll become so miserable, you're going to hate it and it'll explode. Like I've seen a lot of bands do. Mm-hmm. A lot of bands explode.
Yeah.
I've seen it over and over and over again. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. They hate each other for 40 years, like the Cro-Mags.
But you are making money.
And fighting over petty money. Let's go back to the original question with how old were you when you first started taking music serious?
That's
yeah.
Well, it's a relative term, seriousness. I mean, I've always been serious about it, but struggled to find people that were willing to go to the point that I was going. And for me, big inspiration was my uncle, one of my uncles, and he taught me a lot of things. Well, he taught me a lot of wisdom, I'll say that. He taught me my first 3 guitar chords, and I took it from there. But he taught me a lot of wisdom about the music industry, and a lot of what he says is true. But you also have to, realize not everything is... Sometimes people grow out of touch with how things are as they grow older, and you have to update your world view of it, And that's why I just... Anymore, I'm observant of what's going on in the scene and what's going on in the world, and... not so much trends, but more of what's consistent,
So how old were you with an age? Give me a number when you're conscious of playing guitar. Like when can you say I can play a song? Junior high, high school, younger than that?
Man.
20?
That'd be funny.
Our friend Joe Ham, he didn't learn guitar until he was a little bit older and was a car wreck, right? I think you've met Joe. He might have been in one of the shows that you've played with, but he was in a car wreck and he was laid up, and that was like the longest time he had to be able to. And he's one of our favorite artists to play with. Incredible guitar player, So please,
I would say I really started. Maybe my interest started in like 2010, maybe, but really didn't start playing with bands until maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years later. Mm-hmm. And like I said, bands, you struggle to find people that want to do what you want to do, because most people want to have music for fun and they don't understand what kind of work goes in, what kind of dedication, what kind of resources, how draining it is mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, socially, whatever. But you have fun doing it, and that's
right.
Part of the reason you do it.
Now, we've seen you as a solo artist, so let's talk about that. Like, what's the type of music that you like to include? Because it's completely different than what you're doing in Throne Room, and I think that's one of the things I really admire with you is a diversity and eclectic sense of music and art, For me personally, one of the beautiful things about art is the first medium that you're connected to helps to open up the other mediums, if that makes sense. It makes, this first step, the first stepping stone, and that takes me to more.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Some of your favorite influences. That's what I'm looking for. A couple more.
Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads.
Dimebag Darrell. Of course, I said huge Black Sabbath fan and Metallica and love Mick Mars. Not a huge glam metal fan, but I do enjoy Mick Mars' guitar playing. Influence, man, I love good music.
Right.
Good metal. I like outlaw, old classic country, western stuff like that. Some Hank Sr. or Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
The Highwaymen.
Yeah.
Of course, I love that song. I play it a lot.
I got to see Johnny Cash once when I was real young in the 70s, played at the racetrack.
Bet that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was very cool. My grandmother was a huge Johnny Cash fan. So, let's go ahead. We got a couple of art dedications we're going to plug, and then I got some things I want to share with you. And so the first thing I'm going to plug is my friend David Kerr has a independent horror film that is premiering next Saturday night over at the Alamo Draft House in Winchester, or Stephen City. I think it's in Stephen City. Have you ever been to Alamo?
I believe it's Kernstown.
It's
they're right beside
close.
each other.
Yeah, I've been close to it. I went right there, but I haven't been in it to actually enjoy a movie. Have you actually been in there?
I've been there before. It's actually will bring you food while you're watching the movie.
Yeah, man. I think that's pretty awesome.
I don't really go out and watch movies much, so I'm not a big movie guy. I like older movies.
Yeah, me too.
Like I think we're talking about like Scarface and Apocalypse Now, and
right, yeah.
Older stuff.
The end of the 20th century.
Yeah.
Can we take a look at the first image?
The slaughter.
Yeah, let's do Slasher Nurse. Let's bring that up.
It's up, isn't it?
I don't see it on the screen here.
Oh, hang on.
There it is. This comes out, this premieres next Saturday night. Again, this is over in, what's the name of the town? That they got Winchester on there, but you said it's
Kernstown, I believe.
Kernstown. Jim Crut, who was in Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead from like the late 70s. Have you seen that one? It's a creepy film.
Actually, I may have with the guys in Trap Hill.
And
because we watch a lot of old
yeah.
That's the only time I watch movies really is when I'm with friends and we're all just making fun of their bullshitting.
Yeah, man, I love that kind of stuff. I love cinema. I love film.
Art.
And Felicity Rose, who I know is a really good friend of Matt Burns. I know he's done a lot with her, and we actually have Matt coming on in about 2 weeks, so I'm real excited about that. Again, this is next Saturday night, February the 8th, the Slasher Nurse at Alamo Draft House Cinema. I'm thinking about actually going to that, driving over and seeing you last night at Hagerstown. Maybe think, oh fuck, I'll ride to Winchester and see a low budget horror film. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And let's plug our next art plug. Oh wait, we have the Fink Fest.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
Fink Fest. Then we'll go to this. Fink Fest. This is a show I was telling you about.
Right across the street from where I was last night.
Yeah, I thought that was so fucking cool, man.
Awesome.
I was like, holy shit, there's Hub City Vinyl.
Do you know who does the booking for Hub City?
I do not, but I have a friend that is working there, so I'll put you in contact with him. One of our friends, Rich Moxley, is working there now.
Do they do metal shows there?
I don't know. I think they are having their very first metal show there. I saw a band that D. Calhoun fronts. It looks like they're either may have played there or they're playing there soon. But I'll see what I can do with trying to get you some contact information on that.
Sure, man. Hagerstown, it's been a long time since I played there because the last time I played there was when I was with Trap Hill. That was maybe, 4 years ago, probably almost now. So I'd like to get back into that scene. And
I thought it was really interesting.
Shout out to the guys in Delusion for coming out.
Oh, I love those guys. Yeah, we're going to have
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah.
I want to do a podcast with Hunter. I really like him. All right, one of the things I wanted to do on this episode, and one of the things we've set up with Gunners, we're going to close this episode with our first experiment with live music, so I'm excited about that. But I wanted to share some things with you about my own art life, right? Like this. So to share, I respect your mind. I respect the mind of artists, right? The creative thing. I don't get to
We're
talk.
different.
Yeah. I don't get to talk to artists very often anymore. So I had this opportunity to talk to someone who definitely admire your creative process, your discipline, and your focus. So there were some things I wanted to share with you, and I thought maybe we could talk about the creative process. Now, I'm going to show a picture. This is an older picture. The first picture we got, this is from 2018. This is the Blue Elephant Art Center in Frederick, Maryland. This was to recognize the 20th anniversary of the Blue Elephant Art Center. I'm an original founding member of Blue Elephant in Frederick, Maryland. Unfortunately, the space is about to be closed. It's my understanding that space that we're standing in there is going to be turned into apartments. It has been the heartbeat of the Frederick, Maryland art scene since 1998. I dedicated 5 years of my life to making that space a success. So let's take a look at the next image we have, Nick. That's me with my producer, Nick Antonetti, and his amazing wife, Christina Antonetti. This is at the 20th anniversary party of Blue Elephant. This was at Area 31, which was another incredible space in downtown Frederick, Maryland. And Nick, I want you to know I reached out to Sam, to Bo, to come on the show, and I think we're going to be able to set that up. This guy has gone on to have an amazing career. He was producing a film when we met him, and that film has done incredibly well. But that image, and let's go to the next image. There we go. That's me at the Blue Elephant, and it's opening day in 1998. That's October of 1998. That's me in the suit. I have been reviewed by the Washington Post 3 times in my life, 2001, 2003, and my film Trailer Trash was reviewed in 2007. Can we go back real quick, Nick, to that picture of you and Christina just for a second? There we go.
I did not know that about you, Don.
I have more I want to share with you. I want to talk about this moment here, right? This is the only, well, no, I can't say the only fucking time. I cried at funerals in my life, but this is the only time I cried publicly, right? Art had not been part of my life and has not been part of my life since 2012, right? That was the last time I had any real public exhibition. So when we're doing this party at Area 31, right, and I'm standing with these amazing artists that I'd been involved with so long ago, I said to the audience, I said, if you have ever known me as an artist, I need to see your hand. I mean, the whole and I'm bawling. I'm fucking bawling, right? And it was really an incredible experience. Art is a powerful thing. It kept me from, I grew up in a trailer park, right? It kept me from being a drug addict. Let's take a look. Okay, let's go through these images. What's 1998, number 2? What's our next?
I'm not sure, Don. I can't.
Click through.
This is what we have.
Yep, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is awesome. And I won't go back.
That chest.
This is me, right? This is 2003. The guy in the center of the picture is Ed Herendeen. He's the founder of Shepherd's Contemporary American Theater Festival, and he is the creative genius that put Shepherdstown on the map. He was an amazing guy and a great friend, And the gentleman on the right, his name is Michael O'Sullivan. He's the art critic for the Washington Post. My first review with the Washington Post is what's called a mixed review. So I sent him a blow-up sex doll for Christmas, which my grandmother wrapped. So and to the Washington Post, right to the Washington Post, I sent a sex doll to the art critic of the Washington Post for Christmas. My next review was excellent, but I remember I'm with him. And I'm having one of the most fulfilling conversations I've ever had in my entire fucking life about art. And I turned to him and I said, Michael, I'm not supposed to be here. And he goes, what do you mean? And I'm like, dude, I'm just some fucking guy from a fucking trailer park. I don't know why art grabbed me. I don't. But I'm happy it did. I'm happy that I had something that created that passion that I see when you play. Does that make sense?
Meaning. Well, art imitates life and life imitates art. That's the beautiful thing about it, and it just keeps going in a circle. It's because it's crazy how every day, like, it's almost like predictive programming art. We were talking about the CIA. Well, wrong segment, but
yeah, wrong segment. No, I totally. And look, I do want to stress, I thought this was funny. This was going to be, and I like how this worked out. So the first half of the show, that we're not going to do the conspiracy. Second half, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to get into some
432 hertz
for some crazy stuff. But I went to Gunnar and I say, Gunnar, you're going to be the first episode that we don't do a conspiracy theory. And Gunnar was like, no, I don't want that. I want it. I want to play.
I want the director's cut. I want the R-rated. I want it X-rated, please.
Yeah, so I thought that was awesome. So, all right, let's take a look at, I got a couple more images I wanted to share. This is one of my images. Unfortunately, I don't have a bunch of my artwork digitized, and some of these, unfortunately, are just like shot with camera phones. All of my artwork, I got evicted from my apartment that I'd had for like 12 years. All my artwork is wrapped up in long-term storage thanks to Nick, right? Someday I hope to find the proper collector for my work. I want the show to be successful. I want to find someone that all of my work is analog, right? It's a forgotten. There's no longer wet photography. I'm a wet photographer. This is, I'm guessing about 90, 91, all black and white. At the time, I was just beginning to experiment with ripping and tearing and collaging paper. Let's take a look at the next image that we got. This is another one that's kind of similar. I'm working with and again, this is shot, unfortunately, with a camera phone, but it's shot from an antique camera that had a 4x5. It was, and so I could strip like 35 millimeter film in it, and I was experimenting with a lot of film noir kind of lighting all through the 90s. And then I got a couple of these. Let's go with the next one, Nick. Do we got the one with the butterfly wings?
Yep.
Can I look at that one first? And then we'll do this one. Okay. All right. This is always one of my favorite images. I gave an original 8x10 print of this to Rob Garza of Thievery Corporation, one of my most famous friends, and then an original 16x20 print of this to a fashion photographer named Erin Williams, who's one of my former students. Now she's a big fashion photographer in New York City. But I went through this for me, that image is from 1998, when I first opened with Blue Elephant, a whole period where I was working with organic material, right? If I can get organic material inside of my photography, I can print it. If I can get light through it, I can make an image of it. So this was positive to positive. It was a process called Cibachrome. So a slide process, when you hold it up to the light, whatever color I could see, if I could get that to come through the material, then I could get a print of it. And I gotta tell this story. And let's take a look at the next image, the collage. That's the girl. No, that was the one you just had. Nope, back.
What's the collage?
It's the girl with that one. This image is, I'm sorry about that. That image is from 2003. And we this was at Blue Elephant. This was our last review, and we were invited to do this show for Contemporary American Theater Festival, and we had to take the plays that were going on, and we had to build our artwork around the play. I had this play called Whores, which it was an incredible play. Lee Blessing was the name of the playwright, but it all took place in this man's mind, and he was tormented from these war crimes that he had committed in Central America. He had ordered the rape, torture, and murder of 3 nuns and a Catholic lay worker. But this, I very much got into physically collage and photographic material. And then we'll just start going through the last few slides that we got there. This is me with Associate Professor of Art, Michael Mendez. He teaches at Shepherd now. He's taught at Shepherd since 1998. This is my studio. You can see some of my artwork in the back, some of my paintings. And that's Blue Elephant. Let's do another one, Nick. And this is me with Doug and Mike Starn, 2 of the most famous photographers of my generation, and 2 of my most important influences. They're identical twins. They worked as one. This is at the Corcoran School of Art. And what else we got?
Last one.
That's the last one. Oh, there. I had to share this. This is me at 21 with the greatest love of my life. That was her name. Her name was Kathy Brancato. This is at Shepherd College, and I'm about 21 in that photograph. And I wanted to show that one to you because music is what starts my artistic life, right? Punk music specifically, metal too. I loved metal. I loved fucking Metallica, and I learned about punk because of Metallica back in the 80s.
Punk and metal, well, probably, I don't know who doesn't want to admit it more, but punk and metal guys are in bed with each other.
Oh, yeah. I really, and now for me to watch like the fusion of different styles, I always think that's amazing. And with music, for me, I would go through different periods, and I really enjoyed, like, when I got a little bit older and, I didn't feel like I needed to impress other people with my musical taste, and I could just really enjoy the stuff that I wanted to listen to, like discovering Parliament. I fucking love Parliament. Discovering James Brown. And I think the world of James Brown. I thought that was incredible music. And then I went through a whole period where I got into experimental music. I'm curious, have you ever listened to any like Einstein, Neubauten, or anything like
Talking
that?
about like avant-garde.
Yeah.
Like, how deep we going into this rabbit hole?
No, I'm just curious if there's anyone out there that
You ever heard of Milton Babbitt?
No, do tell.
So he is famous. Well, not really famous, but he's known for creating. Not really creating, but I guess he wrote a lot of what's called toneless music. It doesn't have a tonal center. Mm-hmm. If you listen to it, it's weird. I mean, it doesn't have a home. It doesn't want to go to any particular note. It's really avant-garde. But I've listened to that stuff. And I'm like, I mean, art's in the eye of the beholder. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But how often am I going to ever find myself listening to that? Never.
There was one piece that really had stood out for me. I remember using it in some student films that I had made, but it was a couple of members of this German band called Einstein Neubauten, right? But they had put microphones in this empty water tower. You know how you have them water towers around town and that does your water pressure? Well, that was completely empty. So they put all these guys around it and they just start kicking and beating, but they're doing it in this rhythmic way, and you've got all of these I don't know what would be called when echoes, right? When everything's echoing and echoing and echoing. It was one of the coolest things. And when that stuff is really well done, it's pretty amazing, you know. I have a really neat friend. Her name is Martha Colburn, a filmmaker. She's collaborated with a lot of really intriguing musicians, and she started with that kind of experimental. I always thought it was bullshit back then, but you know, and that's one of the few possessions I've never lost is her. I have a record of hers.
I think a lot of bad artists know that they're bad, but what's bullshit is when you go to one of these, like an art gallery, and you see what looks like someone just shit finger painted on a piece of canvas, you know? Right. And it's like, okay, I mean, I would rather look at something like the Last Supper or the Mona Lisa, or you know, the chapel,
the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, for me, like some of the things that intrigue me as a photographer, as an artist, right? Especially with photography, is I didn't want to just take landscapes and portraits and just normal pictures, right? That to me is like easy. I became much more intrigued in my era, what they called the theater of the mind, right? Photography was going through this revolution, and there were some really neat figures. One of my favorite photographers, you know, for anyone that's watching, Joel Peter Wicken, right? He was the first artist that really spoke to me. Did this amazing photography, and the only way I can describe it is he went and he photographs purgatory and hell. And, you know, there are these surrealist images with real people in them, and just incredibly disturbing. And I'm thinking, that's art. That can be part of art. That can be part of the conversation. So that was really cool, you know. And
art is symbolic.
Art is very symbolic.
It's everywhere.
And everywhere.
In music, in nature. That's why, I mean, you see it in nature all the time. I mean, you see it in your golden ratios and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. The Fibonacci sequence. Yeah, stuff like that. You see it in nature, and you know, you learn about that stuff in music and everything, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It has a symbol. It has a meaning. It has a structure. It's organized.
Right.
Much of the world is organized.
Absolutely. Before we get ready for our second part of the show, and before you perform, let's talk about how people can follow you online if anyone's interested in where you're performing next and and I know that you're looking to do shows.
I am.
You've made that very clear. I hope some of the producers, local producers who watch the show, you know, hear that. I think you're awesome. I want to see you play, you know, as much as possible.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah. So plug.
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Gunner Heathe. It's GUNNERHEATHE.
And then, what's Amadeus's last name?
I want to say Harris.
Harris, I think that's right. And he's on a little. I think I saw that they posted that Scarecrow's Curse is on a little bit of a hiatus. Mm-hmm. And what about Rocky? What's his last name?
McIntyre, I believe. And yeah, Trap Hill is actually, I want to plug those guys too, because they're you know, they got some cool stuff in the works, and I'm looking forward to what
Rocky McIntyre. That's the singer of THC.
That's the bass player.
The bass player.
Jeb is the singer of THC.
Okay. Sorry, I got that confused.
You know, those guys are fucking awesome. I don't know when their next show is, but I'm sure they'll be playing Bright Box or somewhere around here, or Harrisonburg maybe again. Hopefully Golden Pony, something fun for those guys.
Do you guys have anything booked? Do you have anything coming up?
We're gonna try. It's in the works right now. I gotta actually get a copy of our logo out to get the flyer, but we're probably gonna play Tilty McFlippers next month.
Oh, cool. Good. keep me posted. We get some graphics on that. We'll definitely use it on the show. Tilties is a lot of fun. Have you been out there yet?
I have not.
It's a
I was there last night.
oh, were you? What'd you think of it? What was your impression?
We've been there a few times.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's entertaining.
It's a barcade, right?
Yeah, Barcade, the Slice Girls, our friends, the Slice Girls who have been on the show, they played there not too long ago. Our friend Jay that's been on one of the earlier episodes, he's the one that puts on a lot of shows there.
Right.
So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to get my friend Gunnar Heathe all set up to play a couple of songs, and then we're going to wrap up part 1. Awesome. Look, everyone, we're trying something completely new. This is the first time in 13 episodes that we've done anything like this. We're going to do our first live musical performance. Please, if you guys like this kind of content, please share the show, subscribe to the channel, and come be a guest. All I want to do is have open discourse in a very difficult time. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Gunnar Heathe.
This one's called Sunrise. Of my life, I know there's no reading the aching words you left behind. Your memory lives through me and gives me the strength to fight. No matter how far away I am from you, it won't erase pictures etched in my mind. Can't move on, I'm running out of time, living with the hole you left in my life. No matter how high I think I am, I can't run away from the falls that drag me down. It's hard to keep the faith, but I'm not afraid. I know I'll meet again when we're ready someday. But until then, life will never be the same. This house is not a home without you here. This house is not a home without you here. I can feel your wings around me. I can see through brand new eyes. I can feel your ghost around me. I can see the sun begin to rise. I look off in the distance. What I see more than just a mirage. Has the whiskey gone to my head? Have I finally lost my mind? But no matter how far away I run from you, it won't erase pictures etched in my mind. Can't move on, I'm running out of time, living with the hole you left in my life. No matter how high I think I am, I cannot run away from the
But until then, love will never be the same. This house is not a home without you here. This house is not a home without you here. Ghost revealed itself to me in the form of a butterfly. If these are the feelings I'm a seal for the rest of my life, I know there's no healing aching wounds you've left behind. Your memories live through me, gives me the strength to fight. No matter how far away I am from you, it won't erase pictures etched in my mind. I can't move on, running out of time, living with the hole you left in my life. No matter how high I think I am, I can't run away from the thoughts that drag me down. It's hard to keep the faith, but I'm not afraid. No need again, we're ready someday. But until then, life will never be the same. This house is not a home without you here. This house is not a home without you here.
That was fucking awesome, Gunner. Just fucking awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, please stick around for part 2. That's going to post roughly 24 hours after part 1. That was an exceptional performance. That was awesome. Fuck. Nick, take us on out.